Hi, today we'll compare HTMX multi-page application with React single-page application. What's special here is that it will be the same application implemented twice using these both approaches, and we'll have a few important goals with this comparison. So we'll compare subjective user experience, so whether we can see any difference using either multi or single page application. We'll also run some load/performance tests to compare load speeds of pages, whether there's a significant difference there, and also we'll go through some other trade-offs like code complexity, and so on. So, what do we have here, more or less? We have simple CRUD application. It has projects and associated tasks, and we can manage them. It looks more or less like this. And as said, it is implemented twice. We have multi-page application, single-page application, and to do this, to support it, these two apps, we have a few components. So one is a server that written in Java 21, and it supports two things, so two apps. So there is a multi-page application there, because multi-page application, as we know, is rendered on the server side. So this here, and it returns fully rendered HTML pages. We use Mustache template engine for that, and HTMX, of course. And here we also have API for single page application that will fetch JSON data from this server. And we have SQLite as a database. We have Nginx as a server for static files and reverse proxy for our server/API. It also serves HTTPS certificates. We have React app, as said. We have various scripts to support operations, and we have a load test script that will help us with load tests. Here I listed a few requirements that you need to have to run the examples. So I have Dockerized everything, so you need to have that. Servers is written in Java, so if you want to build it, you need to have this. Node is required for the React app, obviously. And if you want to run it on infrastructure, not locally, as I did, you need to have a DigitalOcean account. And because I have prepared a few scripts to automate deployments, you don't need to necessarily use DigitalOcean. You can have any kind of virtual machine that is available to you through SSH, but with DigitalOcean it will be easier since I have written all of those scripts. So in the README I have described all the steps that are needed to deploy it to the infrastructure, set up HTTPS certificates, build and deploy applications. There are scripts for all of that, but to make our video more focused and concise, I have done it already, and I have two applications, multi-page and single, deployed on my DigitalOcean machine already. So if we go to the browser, we have HTMX version and React version. So what do we have here? Basically, to reiterate what are the main differences between multi-page and single-page applications, if we go to the network for multi-page application, we can see that sign-in endpoint URL, it returns fully rendered HTML. We have all the things that we see here, and some that we are not seeing. Here's the error message that you can see. We type it. We have some JavaScript, but basically it is all returned from the server. We have HTMX minified here, and some styles generated with the help of Tailwind. And the difference with React is that it is rendered on the client side. So signing it doesn't return, it returns empty HTML, as you can see, and from there it is handled by React, the rendering of the UI. For the difference, we can also see that let's see how much data we are fetching through the network. So here we are making only 3 requests. Let's disable cache. As you can see, it's very small, and it will be slightly bigger for the version, because the JS bundle is obviously larger, but still 116. Yeah, here it's significantly less, but we'll see whether it makes difference in a while. And as you can see, I need to, let's enable cache again. I need to sign in. I cannot go anywhere without signing in. So let's find the users and go through some code. So let's go to our IDE. And I have prepared a few users, but before that, let's see a few interesting differences. So here we have users, but we have a few modules: project, task, and user, because we are able to manage projects and tasks, and they belong to the user. So maybe just to show one difference, we have project HTML controller, and it returns fully rendered HTML pages, as we see in a while, and they are rendered they're created based on templates that we have here. And just using one example, we have projects, master template, and they are used and rendered on the server side. When needed, we have some JavaScript to enhance its behavior, and it's obviously different for React version, because we have SPA application, single page application, and here we need to have full build with package JSON and JavaScript app. And as you can see, we also have similar modules as we have on the server side, because it is all rendered on the client. So we need to write a lot of JavaScript to handle it, show it, whereas it's significantly less on the server side. But if we compare project HTML controller with project API controller, which is almost the same, but it returns JSON data instead of fully rendered HTML pages. It is simpler, obviously, because, for example, projects page, we need to get projects, have some translations, then render the whole page, and we have a few objects to make it easier. They are using mustache library, and they render given template. So they need to be parameterized, read from the file system, and so on. And for API controller version, that returns on JSON data. As you can see, it's significantly easier. We just have to return projects, and that's basically all. You need to take projects and use them and various translations to render HTML page. Alright, but let's not focus on the code so much. Maybe one thing that can be relevant here, we have a schema, and we have the same data used by both applications, because they use the same server, but multi-page application version, it gets fully rendered HTML pages, and single page application version, it fetches JSON, but the underlying data is the same. So we were here to get the user or users. So here we have them. So let's take myself. And one thing is that we have, as I have shown, we have inline validation for both apps. It's basically the same. Implemented slightly different, obviously, but let's just log in. Let's not give password to see what happens. We have an error model, and the same. It works the same here. So as you can see, the user experience is exactly the same. But let's sign in, and let's also sign in here. Alright, so we are on the projects page, and as you can see, it's really fast for multi-page version, and we have full page rendered when we refresh the page. Here we can see a slight layout shift, because as previously we are getting not rendered almost empty HTML from the server. That is then JavaScript then takes control and renders things that it gets from JSON API, as you can see, but the content is the same. So let's maybe add something like, I don't know, search project, and as you could see, it's really fast. We had like full page reloads here, but it's really fast. I don't know whether I don't see. So as you can compare, we don't have full page reloads with this single page application version, but I wouldn't say that you can see any difference. Yeah, so going from tasks to projects, it's the same. On multi-page application, as you can see, the experience is really good. Here we have a task search, but before checking it out, let's add a few tasks to make use of it. So maybe like task 1, project 1. You can see we also have inline validation here. We have a task. Let's add another one to project 1, and let's go to, so we add 2 more, but using multi-page application, and yeah, do notice whether you can see any differences, because I cannot, which is really good for the multi-page application, since it is significantly easier to write. Create, I don't know, task X, I think 4 is enough. Alright, we can also like remove the two projects that we have created. So here we have a model, and here we didn't make a full page reload, so it was really fast, as you could see. Here, let's remove it, and as you can see, the experience is really the same. So we have tasks, the same data on both apps, as you can see. And let's start with single page application to see how the search works. So you can use project 1, and there are all tasks. For project we don't have, maybe let's edit this guy to and change its project. Let's go here again. We have 3 projects because of the filter, and with project we have 1. And if we remove it, we have all tasks, and it works the same for the multi-page application, as you can see. Here I don't do full page reload because I use HTMX to do that. So if you can notice, when I type, we are doing this request. HTMX is doing that, and in the response it gets HTML partial. So there are a few divs, as you can see. They contain search results. So if we type a project that doesn't exist and we don't have any associated tasks, there are no tasks div in the response. That's all we get. But as you can see, the user experience is the same, I would say. So that's also, and also if we edit this guy, remember that we did a full page reload upon clicking here. And as you can see, it's really fast. No difference there. And if we type done to change task status, hit enter, there was a full page reload pass, but as you also can see, it's really fast. If we go to the tasks again, we can filter them based on status. Yeah, and it works exactly the same here, but let's refresh the page, and we have exactly the same things. Yeah, do you see any difference? I don't. And if we go to the account, same things here, and as you can see, there is a slight layout shift with React version, because page is loaded immediately, but then we need to make fetch request to the API to see to render what we see. And with multi-page application, we are clicking on a page or link, and in response we get the full page. Yeah, the full page with the results. So it's immediately available to see. Yeah, so before running load tests, to have some metrics on how exactly long does it take to render full pages, we can also run the lighthouse report to see whether we have significant differences here. It probably will be very similar. Yeah, so very high scores, as you can see, for multi-page version. Yeah, largest contentful pane 1 second. Low blocking time, fierce contentful paint also less than a second. Speed index, really good. Let's see projects. Let's run it also for React version. Most likely will be the same or almost the same. Yeah, so let's compare. Slightly slower. Yeah, because first we need to get the JavaScript and only then we can render. So it's slightly better for multi-page application. Obviously, because we get the already rendered full HTML page. Alright guys, so as you can see, no difference for as far as user experiences go. I would even say that I like multi-page application version more, but yeah, you can judge yourself. Let's objectively say that there is no significant difference. And let's see what about more objective metrics. So for that we have load tests. It is a single Java file that basically will tell us what the differences are. It will make like I think 2000 requests to both of our applications and print out the results for various endpoints and for each page. So for each page, what does it mean for this page to be ready to use for multi-page application version? It means that we need to fetch projects and we need to fetch CSS and JavaScript. But CSS and JavaScript it is fetched in parallel, so we'll take worth of these two guys time. And similar for single page application, but here instead of 3 requests with multi-page application, we need to make 4 because we need to fetch empty HTML. Then we know about JavaScript and CSS, and then we also need to fetch projects to see the projects for this particular case. And it's the same for tasks and account if we give somebody on. Yeah, and it's slightly different. This is true if you do full page reload and give somebody a link. If I click on tasks, obviously I need to fetch only tasks, but in practice with multi-page application, if I click on tasks, also CSS and JavaScript is fetched, but it is cached. So there's really no difference in practice. Yes. Alright, so knowing that, let's run them. We need to have a few things. So links to JavaScript and CSS assets that they are changing with bits, so we take them in a while. We also need to have token. And we need to have token from here because we are signed in. And we have authentication. So let's start with multi-page application as described here. So I go to load test. I will export host as described there. And this is our host. Test case, we have MPA, we have JS path, we go to the network, and we have this guy, then we have CSS, For CSS, we have this guy. Right, and we also need to have token. It's quite long. Let's copy it. Alright, it should work, and before making it, we can also go to the console where here I am signed in to my machine, and it's dockerized. So if I run docker ps, you can see Nginx and the server. Out of curiosity, you can see stats, and as you can see, they are not doing that much, and we can also check this out doing our tests, how it changes or not. So to start the test, we just need to run this command. It will compile and run our Java file. So let's do this and see what will happen. Yeah, so we are making 2000 requests, 100 requests per second. Yeah, before going further, let's see what the, it is loaded, but as you can see, not that much. We have endpoints, projects, task, and account is for our multi-page application. These are the pages, and we are making 100 requests per second. And let's see. Yeah, max we had 1 second for any request. A few endpoints. Endpoints are not that interesting. What's more interesting, but for endpoints we can maybe see that they are really fast. So less than a second, really 99th percentile. Yeah, less than a second for 99th percentile. Here we have pages, as I said. So this sum, worst of JavaScript or CSS plus HTML endpoint for a particular page account here in particular. Max was quite high this time, but 99th percentile less than 2 seconds, 1 second and a half. Here for projects and here for tasks. But I haven't used this droplet in a while. That's actually higher than I expect. So let's run it again. I think it should be faster. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, as you can see, it was faster second time. Yeah, so for pages we have, let's say we have a second. Maybe to be sure, let's run it for the third time. Yeah, so for the third time it was even slightly better, but let's say that it's a little below a second for each page, which is really fast, considering that this fetch is it needs to get data from the database, and 99th percentile it's less a second, and if you care about 19th percentile, it's really less than 100 milliseconds, which is really fast. Alright, so we have these numbers. Let's run the React version, the single page application version. For that, what do we need? We need to change the variables. So host would be React SPA. Test case is as well. JS path is, let's take it from the browser. So it's JS, so assets, let's copy it. And CSS, let's see, it is that guy. Let's paste it here as well. I think without this slash, and it should be all we need. Token is, we are saying token, but I think it's the same since the backend is the same, the server is the same. It is signing tokens using the same secret. So let's try and run it. Yeah, so slightly different endpoints. We are making API calls. As you can see that they return JSON. Resource use should be similar. I think it is. CPU is rather low. Yeah, times are higher, but let's also run it at least twice. Yeah, so after this second run, it is still significantly more than I would expect. Well over a second for 99th percentile. The sum is different, as you can see. One more request because first HTML, doesn't matter which one, because they are all the same. HTML pages, they are empty for single page application. And worst of these two guys, they are fetched in parallel, and one JSON API call. But yeah, I don't expect to have for the difference to be that big, because on the 99th percentile with multi-page application we had less than 1 second and less than 100 milliseconds for 99th percentile. So to be sure, let's run it for the third time. So yeah, right now it was better, but still worse than multi-page application. Yeah. Yeah, so as you can see, it's worse. It's not like twice worse, twice as bad, but it is significantly worse in any case. Yeah. So we had less than 1 second, 99th percentiles. And here we have slightly more, I guess less than for this particular, but yeah. The differences are not that significant, but still the multi-page application was faster in that particular case. Yeah. To make it clear, here is a summary of the results. Right, so as we could see, we can have the same user experience with multi-page application as we have with single-page application. But I would argue that the code is simpler. Performance is even slightly better with multi-page applications. So maybe that's the way to go. Yeah. So I think that's it, guys. Like the video if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, and I see you next time. Cheers!